Welcome back everybody, welcome to those new to the channel. In this episode we're out diving the beautiful Aldermen Islands off the coast of New Zealand. Clean blue water, large schools of kingfish, epic scenery above and below water, amazing diving conditions, encountering a variety of species, some big sharks and more. Stay around for the action. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode. Here today with mate Stu. Been a while, bro.
Yeah, been a while, bro.
And we're heading way out there to the islands on the horizon. Beautiful Aldermen Islands. Yeah, just going to see what we can find. Ideally a few kingis, boarfish, snapper, crays, the usual drill. So we'll see you out there. Made it out to the Aldermen Islands and the water's blue, clean. Just pulled up to Davey to Perth and our mate, and he says it's like 20-30 metre viz, so we're stoked, can't wait to get in. Pretty quiet around here where we are, so we're just going to shoot off to another spot and see what's happening there. Enough talking, we've got to get into it. See you. It's incredible, Stu. It's incredible, man. I'm happy just to snorkel today. Wow. Greeted with deep, clear blue water, excellent visibility. I didn't muck around and got into it. Diving down big, steep walls here next to this pinnacle, rocks sticking out of the water. Pink mau here down below. Slightly hazier the deeper you got, but I'm not complaining with this visibility. It wasn't the most ideal time to be diving here in terms of tide. There wasn't much current pushing. It was nearing the low tide, so everything was a bit stagnant. You can see the two-spot demersal fish here, just milling around deeper. Not much movement, not much going on. Nice just to warm up the lungs, however, getting into the day of diving. I move on to another rocky outcrop. Again, you can see big, beautiful schools of blue mau here. An excellent eating fish. You know when there's action happening, these fish are a bit more erratic, moving around feeding, as with all other fish. So I just continue warming up the lungs, getting some dives in, getting ready to encounter anything that comes past me for the rest of the day. I move out to another reef further away from the rocks and see this huge school of kahawai. Must be hundreds of them. Again, everything's just a bit quiet, cruising along. Beautiful scenes. So I just take it in and do a bit of free diving. Beautiful, large, big kahawai. If you're targeting kahawai in scenes like this, dive down. Usually only need to get around 10 meters. And the fish will come and circle around you, vortexing you. I changed my mind here, trying to take a shot at the kahawai. It just bounces off his head, just missing him. A big school of koheru, baitfish come rolling in here. Quite a few of them are lit up yellow on the sides. This usually means that there's a predator nearby, such as a kingfish. But in this case, nothing's happening, nothing's going on. So we just take in the scenery. Some nice deeper dives, just slowly warming up the body. Here's Stu here surfacing. No luck on the first spot, so we move on into the main islands here to try some shallower areas, look for some snapper, crayfish, try some new spots. The visibility here is just as good, if not better. It's just a deep inky blue, just amazing. It's not always like this in New Zealand, so it's a pleasure to dive in such visibility. There's some nice terrain here. Again, we're just not in the right time of the tide, there's no current pushing. However, we go for an explore. I find some nice cracks and crevices here that follow out onto nice ledges and drop-offs. An excellent spot to see a snapper parked up. So I'm creeping along here, having a look, but nothing much going on. I spot some of my favourite friendly fish down below. I always like to give them a feed of kinna when I see them. The wrasse. So I grab a nice big kinna, crack it open with the knife, and the wrasse knows exactly what's happening. Tucks straight in for a nice feed of fat kinna. Awesome little fish these, they're so tame. As you can see, I even pat the fish here. No snapper here, but we're nicely warmed up, lungs are warmed up, and we move on to find some weed lines to try and hunt for some boarfish, John Dory and likes. You can see the terrain here, nice patchy weed, perfect terrain for boarfish. So we're having a look along this bit of coastline, all new terrain for us, but we're hopeful. I see a few more friendly sea creatures down below, the moray eels, so give them a free feed of kinna as well. Always cool to check out what's going on down on the sea floor. It's not all about shooting fish. I spot a few snapper lurking below in my peripheral vision, so diving down and just laying low on the kelp bed, getting cover from the 2-spot demersal school. I'm hoping a curious snapper comes in for a look. These fish provide excellent cover when hunting snapper, but snapper were a bit wary today. I move on a bit further down the coast and find some very nice terrain, and sure enough I spot the silhouette of a boarfish down below. Unmistakable. It's not too deep, probably around 12 to 15 metres, so I just take my time, do a nice breathe up on the surface and plan my approach. I make the duck dive and I'm just sinking down. I want to come slightly behind the fish, top down. They're a very placid fish, so you can usually get right in close. I make my way down, I see the fish is just very relaxed, line the shot up and put the shaft right through the head. Good shot. These are amazing eating fish, spectacular, so I'm very stoked. I don't shoot these fish often, so I'm over the moon. Boarfish usually hang in pairs, so I'm looking around trying to find its mate, but all I can see is a bronze whaler shark below. It's heard the spear gun go off, it's heard a bit of commotion, so it's coming in to see what's happening.
Nice diving on the weed line around there, very fishy, heaps of bait. And just spotted the first boarfish I'd seen in years and managed to peg it, and yeah, swimming along with Stu further along, and nearly got back to the boat and the fish was no longer clipped onto my gun, so I'm pretty bummed actually, First boar in a couple of years, and they are very tasty if you haven't tried them. Mixed between kind of snap and John Dory and something else beautiful, but anyways, it's life. Learnt my lesson. Maybe figure out some better system for the fish. Anyways, we're back into it. Anchored up in a nice little bay here, real sheltered, and yeah, we're going to try for some pinnacles, lobster, crayfish while it's low tide, nice and shallow, and then see what the afternoon brings.
There's some excellent little ledges here, drop-offs, a perfect spot for a snapper to be milling. I just slowly make my way over the ledge here, just peeking over, but no snapper seen. Might be a bit too much light, they like a bit of shade, so I keep pushing, and I find this gutter just full of blue mau. Just a beautiful experience, beautiful fish to dive in. Take it in, swimming with the school for a little while, and then carry on. I am here to hunt some fish. I spot this gutter below and see a silver tail just tuck under the ledge here. I'm hoping it's a snapper, not a poor eye. So slowly sinking down for a closer look. I creep over this ledge here, and sure enough, there's a snapper just milling below, half asleep. It hasn't seen me, but it can sense something's going on. It's a bit wary, it's moving around. I wait for the shot, come broadside, and get a nice shot right through the fish. It can be a bit tricky shooting snapper top down as they're a narrow fish, but if you can get slightly broadside, it helps you get a more secure shot. A nice little eating snapper, that's going to be beautiful for dinner. Stoked to finally get a fish on the board. Yeah, no crows? Jeez. No luck on the crayfish or lobster. We make our way round to a nice piece of coast here. The wind's starting to pick up and this is sheltered from the conditions, and it is beautiful.
Well, pretty tough going so far. Lost that boarfish. Managed to get that one snapper, but we've just parked up here in this absolutely picturesque bay. Looks like we're in the PP Islands in Thailand, but I guess we're just in New Zealand. Amazing spot. Oh yeah, poor eye. Nice.
We push on from our lunch spot in the shallows and move out to some deeper pins. A beautiful reef rising out from very deep water nearby, inky blue water. I'm greeted by a big school of blue mau here. I load the spear gun, getting ready for anything to swim by. It's one of those places. I make it towards the shallower reef here, shallower pin. There's a big bronzy cruising around. It's in a very placid state, so I'm not worried, and dive in for a closer look. I love swimming with these fish when they're nice and calm. Beautiful creatures. Not quite getting on the fish, I jump back on and I do another drift dive over the pins, this time with more success. As soon as I jump in, there's vast schools of koheru, all lit up with their yellow stripes. There's a big bronze whaler shark, kingi's lurking below. It's all on. Excitement levels are high. Such clean, deep blue water. And within minutes, I see a huge school of kingfish down below coming in for a look. I dive straight down right into the middle of the school and don't waste my chance. It's all a bit overwhelming, there's so many kingfish, but I line up what I think to be the biggest and put the shaft right through its head. You can see this fish has a bit more length and girth than most of the fish here, so it's a good choice. The angle of the shot causes the shaft to punch through the gill plate on the other side, just wedging the spear in there, not going right the way through. So I've got to be careful, I can't put too much pressure on this fish. The fish is definitely very injured, but still plummets down into the depths. I make it to the surface, get my breath back, and the fight is on, as usual with these big, large predatory fish. It's an amazing sight with all the thousands of koheru, all lit up yellow, circling the kingfish. A few of its mates hang around, and I'm just slowly circling the fish back up to the surface without putting too much pressure on that shaft. I don't want it to slip back through and lose a kingfish. I'm making ground very fast, getting the fish back to the surface. It's very, very hurt. Boatman Stu sees I have a fish on, so comes in for a closer look to see if I need any help. Bit too close, misjudging the currents there. It's pushing hard out here. It's all go. Back to the fight, and this kingfish has decided it's not that injured, making a few good runs, trying to escape me, but the shot looks like it's holding. It's secure enough, so I'm just slowly winding it towards the surface. Finally, getting the fish close enough, I just circle it those last few times. This is the most important bit of the fight here. You don't want to scare that fish too much if it's still green. They can take off or tang you up in your leg and rip you down from the surface. So trying to get hold of the tail here and get it into a bear hug. I get it in my legs, hold of the tail, hand in the gills. Once I've got my hand up in those gills, I know I've got this fish under control. I finally managed to get the fish under control and get a knife into the brain to end the fight.
size, mate. Woo! Made up for that lost boarfish earlier, and just smacked this stonker. It's actually a much bigger fish than I thought. Yeah. Once I got it up into the onto the boat, it's real fat, long. Yeah, I'd say over 20, maybe 25. So there she is. So it's yeah, not a bad kingy at all actually. Pretty stoked. So get this one in the icy tech, and I'm gonna drop stew in because it's going off. I've just got these pins here, ties pushing in. This is acres of koheru all lit up yellow. It's all action. So yeah, we're gonna get back into it. All right, just dropped stew in the water. Look at the colour, it's just bright blue. Oh, there it is. Snorkel. Too keen. Stu was so keen, jumped in the water without a snorkel. So, I've kind of got a pin system here and a big reef just running out from this deep water right through here, and yeah, it's going off. Ooh, I'm pumped. It never gets old smacking a good sized kingy. Just love it. Lucky I've got this big chili bin for missions like this, getting good kingies, and yeah, this is a 115 litre. That's a big long bin, and just filled the bin up. I had to cut the tail to fit them in, so woo, epic.
Dropping Stu in for his turn at a spear in this deep blue water. Here's Stu's footage. He's greeted with equally as amazing scenes. Vast schools of baitfish. You can see the bottom here, just the sandy bottom. That's 30 metres. 30 metres visibility. Incredible. He sinks down into the school, waits for a nice opportunity, and lines up a pink mau-mau. Stretches out and takes a shot. I get the wave from Stu, so I head over and see what's going on. It's got a fish on, I'm not sure what it is at this stage.
Gun's floating on the surface, usually means he's taking a shot. He's waved me over. Oh yeah, pink mau-mau. Something different, eh? Yeah, good shit, mate. There's a few down there. Any bait? Koheru? Yep, heaps, mate. Okay, get in there, mate. Nice.
I drop Stu back in the water. He's greeted with a large school of kingfish below, takes a shot on a very large fish, but unfortunately he gets muzzle wrap on his roller head. Unable to hold on to the gun, as it's a real gun, he needs to get back to the surface. He has to let go and unfortunately loses his prized gun. Quite the bummer, but hey, that's life. And the main thing is Stu gets back to the surface and gets home with his own life. Stu thinks Tangaroa has spoken, so we call it for the day and head home. The new boat's handling fantastic, punching through the chop with ease. Stu's impressed, and we're home before we know it. What an awesome day it was.
Well, that's a wrap, guys. Back at the boat ramp. Awesome day, tough day in some aspects. I lost my boarfish, Stu lost his gun, but yeah, we at least come home with one solid kingy that's going to creating space. We've got a few other little assortments. Beautiful Kahawai. It's going to be Stu's dinner. What else has he got? He's got his pinky morai. Not my cup of tea, but I think if you cook it right, anything's good.
Yeah, smoke it.
That one. And one of these pinkies is yours.
Nice.
Oh, shot. First prinky ever.
Yeah, nice.
Snapper. So I got the kingi and a snapper for dinner, so
Not complaining, that's a real fat kingi. Must be around 20, 25.
oh, that's a wrap, guys. Hope you liked that one. Thanks for watching. See you on the next adventure.
Cheers for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that episode. As usual, if you want to see more, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you want to support the channel, see the links in the description. Otherwise, primalpursuit.co.nz, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Cheers everyone, safe diving.